Hi everyone, welcome to round 3 from Sheffield. So I'm just hoping to win both the games today, because 2.5 out of 5 would still be decent or respectable at least. I should probably avoid losing series points if at any at all. But I was playing Mick on again for the 6th time ever. I'd finally got my first win over him at Haywood, albeit via a swindle. And I knew I was playing him before the day, but he also knew as well to come in the MCAR together. So I had prepped some stuff overnight, and I actually thought some conversations that you might not really know what to do against the old Indian. Very some sneaky move, all the tricks. So I played D4, I played D6, C4, which is actually already inferior supposed to be. Nh3 is supposed to be stronger, because this is actually supposed to be quite good for black. Because the queenless middle game is actually about equal. Because White's bishop wants to use c4, but it can't because the pawn's at when black's just going to play c6, king c7. It's an improvement of the line in the Enfield doors actually. e4, d6, d4, knight f6, knight c3, e5, d takes, d takes. It's supposed to be a bit better for White that line, because the bishop can go up to c4. I have to put pressure on f7, but not in this line. d5 is supposed to be quite dodgy as well. Black's supposed to get a good play after f5, but then you've got e4, temporary pawn sack to get e4 square. Then maybe got moves like g3 and bishop g2 to recover it. He played knight f3, very provocative move. I played e4 and took up the challenge. Knight g5 and f5. This opening was seen in there's these like live blitz videos from the Intel Grand Prix in 1994 on online chess lessons, and I'm getting game between Adams and PCAD. PCAD and Adams had this line, so I tried to remember what happened. Nc3 Nf6 g3. So Fianchetto and the bishop. So maybe plans of f3, breaking up my centre. Bishop e7. I think g6, bishop g7 is more common. Bishop g2. Castles, queen e8. Maybe not a great move. I was trying to get a Dutch type position. Now I played h4, which confused me a bit. Maybe trying to slow down my attack. Knight c6, bishop f4, e6, knight h3. So I'd wait till his bishop was on him. f4 first, so the knight can't come there straight away. Bishop d8, an interesting move. Adding more obsession to e4, and protecting c7 in case of any knight b5 tricks. Now I played d5. So I get the e5 square, so maybe but he gets e6 potentially. Queen d4, not a very good move, seems to waste a move, because after knight d7, b3, bishop f6, the queen has to go back anyway due to discovered attack threats. One knight f3 check was friend. Queen h5, so going all out for the win, trying to get some attack going. Okay, c1. Knight back to f7, preparing g5 ideas, but this is starting to get a bit dodgy this position. He played bishop e3, and the knight's going to come to f4 if I don't play g5, and I'm starting to get a bad position, so I have to play g5, which I did. Takes, and now knight b5, and forking both c7 and a7. But now there's some interesting tactics in this position, because I could have played f4 actually. Didn't really consider this. So what's the point in this? Well, the point is, if g takes f4, the knight hops into c5, threatening bishop takes h3 with a main attack. Potentially bishop takes c5, then bishop takes h3. Takes. And now black's got threats of king g7 and rook h8. So, and in fact, actually this leads to a draw by perpetual. If we try king g7, I think like if we try king g7, White actually can just about escape with bishop takes f6 check. Now if king takes f6, we have queen c3 to g3, so black has to ignore it. And then black plays queen c3, stopping the mate, and then we just play it anyway, because White has to give his queen up. And in this position, White has 2 rooks and a pawn for a queen, so black starts to get the perpetual. So that was shout line. So if white doesn't want to draw, then the problem is now his bishop's trapped. Apart from bishop d4. That allows f3, which is pretty devastating. So I think white has to take the draw. But I played bishop d8 and allowed him to take an a7 because I thought it was bad. If he plays knight takes a7, then I can't lose his bishop on c8. I have nothing, so I should take it as slightly exchange to trap his bishop. But it seems that f3 seems to get him out of this mess. But he's got 3 points out of the game, and it's going to be quite dangerous. So a4 to try and free the bishop. f4, g4, e3. This is just a sample line. Now knight g3 is coming. This is not good for white. So he played f4 in the game, trying to block up the king side. And to be honest, I saw nothing better than just to play g4. But that's actually a really bad move. A very horrible strategic move. I should have just took it. Because he can't take the bishop because his knight is hanging, which I missed. So he has to take the pawn. I'm still keeping his pieces off f4, but now and my pawn's still adequately protected in g5. So now I can play knight d5. Try and get some pressure going. And now if he plays f4, this time we do play g4. Because if knight f2, then we have knight f3 check, forced him to give his bishop up because that was a fork, and that pawn could cause some dangerous threats. And white would have to be very careful. After g4, knight f2, there is no my knight can't get into e5. That's the difference. So white's still got his defensive bishop, so I can't play king g7 going for a mate on the h file really quickly. So even worse now, I played b6 to stop him taking an a7. Knight d1. Now he starts playing good moves fast as well. Played a5, another rotten move, allowing an opponent outpost on a5. So he starts getting a bind. So then doubles up. After the draw of the Rook h8, because I saw there's going to be some nasty pressure on c7 coming up, but of course he declined. Played what I dreaded, knight b5. I took it, which I thought would be quite good because it's quite very blocked position, so it'd be good to get with this bishop. But the problem is that our bishops, sometimes bad bishops defend good pawns. And now he had an interesting possibility actually of sacking a piece of 3 pawns. With knight takes c7, knight takes c7, bishop takes b6. So after queen g7, maybe it's not so clear. He's got a lot of passed pawns now, but maybe knight g5 actually is interesting tactics. Takes. That's quite nasty. So white have to be careful now if the knight can get in the game. In fact, e3 check actually is a serious threat, so he has to move his king, then we've on h3 with dangerous counterplay. So that's Merkin, he played instead h3, which is a good move, just preparing b4 and stop my knight coming to c5. I played queen g7, bishop d4, took. Now I played queen f6, and he played e3, which seems like a good move, stopping any counterplay, but I actually missed my time trouble again. I was getting time trouble. Knight c5, if b4. Wish this can't play knight d3, is what I was wondering. With the king g1, he's just going to play bishop f1 and win that pawn. So actually, no, it's not good. I played knight d8. Now comes b4. King g8, I've got seconds left. Queen b2, so the queen's, which is actually a very bad move, falls well white's advantage. You should have played queen c3 instead. That is much stronger, and I knew it was as well. Coming in this way, because now if I try c5, d takes c6 is possible. After queen b2, I didn't actually play c5 this move. But this time, if d takes c6, I can play knight takes c6. Because now the queen's pinned. But I played knight b8 first. Now he plays Queen A3. And in fact, I played the only move to stay in the game despite having I had like 2 seconds left, and I bashed up C5 really quickly. Which is still bad, but he didn't lose immediately, and he didn't follow up correctly actually. Should have took it this time. Although it does seem counterintuitive to let my knight into a game, I've now created 2 weak pawns at B6 and D6. In fact, after Queen A8 check, Knight D8 is forced, and now he just moves his bishop onto F1 with a decisive advantage. But I took back, and now black's fine. I have another swindle coming up. I played Knight E2. And now I play Queen E7, get my queen into defence, and after Queen A5, I should just play Knight F7. I don't see what white's doing in this position. If Queen A8, we play Queen D8. If Knight C3, moving the knight round, we can play Knight D7. The endgame should be fine, because in fact the endgames might even be better for black, because white's bishop's barring on granite. So white needs to keep the queens on, I think, because his queen's a lot more active. And then we play Knight B6, attacking C4, bishop F1. After King G7, I don't see what even that's fine. After King G7 is a bit better. After King G7, I don't see what white's doing. If Knight comes into B5, then there's no threat. Everything's defended. We can even try and kick the queen with Knight C8, Queen A6. As long as I don't lose on time, I think I'll be fine. But I blundered with Queen D7. The stress of defending a bad position on game got to me. Just put Queen B6, and now I'm dropping material. It seems. Well, actually, I could have played Knight B7, which I somehow missed, protecting everything. The problem is now but I'm very tied up. So he just plays Knight C3, and there's nothing I can do. So I've got no moves. I mean, actually, perhaps because his ugswanged, he's gonna move his knight round, so that's lost as well. So I play Queen C8, letting D6 drop, but that's obviously lost now. Heading for half out of 4. Knight came into C3. He's using to bring his knight around to finish me off. And I blundered again with Knight B4, but it's lost this point anyway. I mean, she's gonna come into she's gonna push this past pawn, losing that D6 pawn, which is the killer. And my pawn's gonna start to fall like flies. But she's a nice move to finish it off. White to move and win. Pause the video if you want. He's played Queen takes F7 check. Because of course, if the King takes F7, he's got Knight D6 check. Regaining the Queen, and he's now a piece in the pawn up, so I threw in the towel at this point. It's a very depressing game to play, and the whole he played really well actually. But I missed him. I know I should have held it, but Queen D7 was just a bad blunder. But this has turned into a nightmare, this tournament. ECF is dropping even more. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave any comments and thoughts. Thanks very much.